I really wish I had them in before the last time I saw them play with the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra, because they did a piece that I'm not sure how to describe to anyone, whether they're a music fan or not. It was specially commissioned for the Symphony Orchestra and for these guys, Time for Three. They're going to be playing a pop show this weekend, and all three members of Time for Three are here: Zach DePue, Nick Kendall, Ranaan Meyer. Howdy, guys.
Hey.
It is swell to have you here. Now,
thank you.
Zach, you and I talked before. What was that? Was that the ABBA show that I thought I talked to you
a couple summers ago,
a while back now.
I think so.
Okay,
yeah.
So it's good to have you back. Zach is
you look younger.
I look younger?
Yeah, you're looking good, man.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Especially for the first time we met. That's.
Do you know Benjamin Button?
I don't know Benjamin Button.
Okay. Well,
I'll try to get to. Yeah.
That's great.
All right. Time for Three came together when? How long have you guys been together?
Well, there was an intergalactic cosmos explosion about 13 years ago.
Okay.
At the Curtis Institute of Music in Philadelphia, which is where we met. We went to school together. We hung out together. We were friends. And
so that explosion was only felt there in Philly. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And possibly only by me. Actually.
Okay.
Ranaan Meyer talking.
Uh-huh.
So the three of us actually just got together for fun, just to, jam after our, stressful, strainingful classical symphony rehearsals, and we would get together and just have a good time. Of course, we loved the classics as well, but it was a great release, not to have a coach or a conductor telling us what to do. We had a very stern conductor at the Curtis Institute of Music, a great man by the name of Otto Werner Mueller, and he was about 6'7". German tradition, German
right.
man, and he really, let's just say when he had a baton in his hand, he was scary.
He was evil.
Yeah, but no, he was great. I mean, he actually had a huge heart, but he knew what he wanted, and he was a great teacher. And so after those long rehearsals, we'd get together, just have a good time, and that's pretty much how the group was born.
Our jam sessions were our recess from his classes, but it was amazing though.
Now, what did you like to play during the jam sessions, whether it was then or now?
I mean, actually, Zach, he was concertmaster of the orchestra 1 year, and I remember distinctly after we were in the pit of this opera production that the school orchestra was doing, and we were doing Marriage of Figaro, and I think it was like a full-scale production, like a dress rehearsal for all the patrons of the school. Of course, from where we are in the pit, we can't see who's sitting out in the audience. But so at intermission, Zach and another bass player in the Curtis Orchestra kind of hung around during the intermission and started playing. So Zach played the overture, the first violin part, and the other bass player started playing a bluegrass riff behind it, and they played through the whole thing like that. I thought that no one was listening, and there was this huge eruption of clapping that happens. But that was kind of the idea. I mean, I think we would sometimes take elements of what we would be rehearsing in our individual lessons or pieces that we've been playing, and mix it up with whatever, or we'd do original compositions that Ranaan would bring to us, a gypsy tune here and there. I mean, it was pretty much wide open.
Then we kicked that bass player out, put this bass player in, and added another fiddle player, and there was Time for Three.
And been together ever 13 years now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how do you stay together that long, especially in a gig like this? I mean, how does that work?
A lot of therapy. No,
okay.
Just kidding. Actually, we get along just fine, and we have very similar musical goals and interests as a group. We also have an outlet individually in addition to the group that we're not always doing this. So my concertmaster here at the Symphony is a major part of my life. Nick has several projects that he works on, his string quartet, the Dryden String Quartet, a chamber orchestra that he helped found called Echo. Ranaan works out of his house in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, composes. What do you do over there?
Well, this is Nick speaking on behalf of Ranaan because we're all so proud of what Ranaan does. But he also founded two double bass camps. The double bass for so long was an instrument in the back of the orchestra, the back of the band. But Ranaan, with his involvement with Time for Three, has made the double bass along with other artists, but really Ranaan has taken the initiative to bring the double bass forward as a solo personality. And there are hundreds of young, up and comings in high school that just worship the ground Ranaan walks on. He's provided a platform for that kind of attitude towards this instrument to happen with a bass camp that he has started and is super successful. That's actually here in the state of Indiana, in Wabash, Indiana.
I really appreciate that, Nick. And also, the bass camp is definitely not just for solo instruments. It's also for, basically anybody that wants to play the bass in any capacity, and which is great. A couple of the teachers that come out are, orchestrally based as well, and it's really wonderful. It's called Wabass, and it's in Charlie Creek in Wabash, Indiana.
Very cool. Because I love that the bass is being brought forward by guys like yourself and just a handful of others. I'm an old jazz guy, but as you said, the bass is always that background instrument. There have been very few in the jazz world over the years that have brought the bass forward to, lead a combo or something like that.
Right. Actually, I was talking to a lovely cellist in the ISO the other night, and she told me that Ray Brown actually passed away here in Indiana before he played a jazz gig. She was going to the show, and the big bouncer guy said, actually, the bass player is dead, and you can't come in. And she thought he was joking, and he actually had passed away.
That's true.
From coughing.
Yeah.
And he was my idol. Ray Brown was the guy who taught me
fantastic,
how a bass player could shine and be out in the open and do this incredibly soulful lines that were so musical and colorful.
Yeah. Ranaan Meyer, the double bass player. Violins, Zach DePue and Nick Kendall are with me. Time for 3. You're playing a show this weekend with the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra. This show is going to be what?
This is a pop show that Jack Everly helped create for us as part of the Pops Consortium at the Indianapolis Symphony. It really... in that setting, in that audience that Jack, he has a very large following in town here coming to the pop show, and he thought that our personalities encompassing into his show and into sort of his format would be great for us. And we've had the opportunity now to collaborate and learn so much from Jack and repertoire and orchestrations and new arrangements and things. So this show literally has, probably like 12 new charts for us that we've learned for this. Okay. That he helped create. It might be a little more, might be a little less. I don't know the exact number, but hopefully nobody's checking my math. But in all, it really does give us a setting to play some wonderful music, pop music from yesteryear, things like Danny Boy, Eleanor Rigby, anything. Oh, there's an arrangement of our Bach double concerto for 2 violins with Sing, Sing, Sing.
Oh, nice.
Which is actually really cool. We've just been working on it. Libertango, Devil Went Down to Georgia, but not the way you think it is. It's a whole new story. A lot of fun stuff that we've been coming up with. It's a fun show, and we've had a great time. We actually are going to see Jack after this to work a little more on the show.
It's funny. The first time I saw, actually, was when we were at the last show. I was there with my 10-year-old daughter. We're going through the program, and for some reason, I saw the name Jack Everly, and I was like, Jack Everly. I showed it to my daughter. I was like, does this name look familiar? And she's like, no. I was like, that's not the Muppet Show music guy, is it? No, Daddy, that's Jack Parnell. And of course, Muppet Show was on long before she was, but we watched the DVDs. So
that's impressive.
Yeah, her memory is really sick, so much better than mine.
Watch what you say.
Yeah, exactly. So there's going to be another fun show. Now, I was trying to describe the show you just did with the ISO, or the piece you just did. This was a specially commissioned piece from a composer named Bolcom. And again, going into this, didn't know anything about it, wasn't sure what to expect until the entire orchestra took the stage, sort of sneaking onto the stage from the wings from either side. And the audience reaction, I'm sure you saw some of the audience reaction because you guys came out there in your own unique way after the orchestra took the stage. But the audience reaction was, what in the blue heck is going on here? What are they doing? And once we figured it out, it was a lot of fun. Now, that being said, I'm sure there were some folks out there who are wondering, okay, what is our symphony orchestra doing this for? What are the, and the second night I was there, because I was there both nights, Friday and Saturday night, the second night, the ladies beside us just got up and kind of walked out at intermission after your piece. We're there giving you the standing ovation, and they just kind of got up and made their way to the bar or whatever.
Controversy.
So. It's not controversy, and it was only I didn't see anybody else do that, but I imagine that's not unusual, perhaps, with a show or with a piece like that, with doing something radically different with a symphony orchestra audience.
Yeah, we were definitely living on the edge for sure. The piece is far different than anything that an orchestra is used to, as far as the theatrical improv and the things they're supposed to do. I mean, the horn section is supposed to be the king at one point. Collectively, we have the winds acting as speaking in gibberish through their instruments. Like you said, the introduction of people just kind of showing their personalities, walking out onto the stage, and 9 movements that are geared around this improv technique from Second City and Viola Spolin. Time for 3, we're always, humbly speaking, we're pretty accessible most of the time, and it was really great for us and the ISO to just shake things up and push these extremes wide open. For nothing else, I think it's just important to explore with an orchestra so that the next time that they play a piece and they're going back to the grind, so to speak, there's a different influence into the music. I think it's been good for everyone, and some people love the piece. Those 2 women actually obviously didn't enjoy the piece as the others.
Maybe they had to go to the bathroom.
Maybe so. We don't know.
I want to say though that this is the same kind of reaction. I actually think we got a better reaction than what we hear about through literature about what the first Beethoven symphony.
Oh, definitely.
The reaction
that
the first Beethoven symphony had. I mean, to the kind of harmonies. Before Beethoven, it was very presentable, beautiful music. But then Beethoven decided to make the orchestration to a pianissimo, and then the next second hit them with fortissimo with an accent, and which is very jarring in that time, and people hated it and walked out and thought that he was Satan in human form. And so I think history has a way of repeating itself, and we always have to remember that. I always think that this piece, it was very successful. We think it was very successful as far as what the institution did and as far as what we're doing for the art form. But I think the true effects of this will be felt, 10 years, 20 years from now.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, what was it? We just had the 100th anniversary of the Rite of Spring.
Right, exactly.
Which, I mean, there were fights in the aisles. Yeah. Amongst audience members because there was a group of audience members offended at the ballet steps or whatever it was. But my thinking is that in order to, keep symphony orchestras viable, because we're seeing so many die across the country and run into problems, whether it's financial, whether it's whatever, there are hardly any full-time symphony orchestras left in the United States. But if you're going to move forward, if you're going to bring in that next generation, that younger audience, then you've got to step out there. You're not going down to their level. You're reaching out and grabbing them and pulling them in. And, so they can either go out to, and I'm not picking on Klipsch here, go out to Klipsch and watch their friends get snockered at whatever concert there is, or they can come down to Hilbert Circle and see something really dynamic, really exciting.
They can also get snockered down.
Well,
here
there's that too. Not speaking from experience or anything, but
how do you spell snockered?
Snockered is it?
Snockered?
Is it snock? I always heard it snockered in the South.
Snockered.
Snock. I like that though. That's softer.
Yeah. That was a North Alabama. Yeah, that was a North Alabama thing, I think, snockered. But when I was in college, so Time for Three is with me. Zach DePue, Nick Kendall, Ranaan Meyer. We were talking about the show, and then we got off on being snockered here.
Yeah.
But the show.
Let's talk about the show. Come down this weekend and get snockered with Time for Three.
Nice.
Friday and Saturday at 8:00. At the Hilbert Circle Theater, and then Sunday they're going to be at the Palladium in Carmel. 7:30 is the start time for that one. Seriously, go see these guys and go see the Symphony Orchestra in the Pop Show. Is this the last show of the season? This is the last show of the 2012-2013 season. So we've got Symphony on the Prairie just around the corner. So after this show, what's next for you guys?
Well, actually, we're going to be finishing off our happy hour season in the summer.
Okay.
And we're playing it actually at the Athenaeum and we're having a collaboration with Ben Sollee, who's an amazing cellist who is not your typical cellist that solos with an orchestra. He sings and he writes his own music and he creates all this percussive techniques. And actually, primarily, his day job is playing in clubs and touring the U.S. and Canada, making his music in a singer-songwriter sort of way on the cello. So he's just fantastic. The Happy Hour series has allowed for Time for Three to collaborate with all these incredible musicians, along with the ISO, and to feature the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra, and to have a great deal of fun, hence the name Happy Hour series. So if you haven't checked out Happy Hour series, you got to come check it out. It's an amazing experience.
You're on the web. What's the website?
TF3, the number 3.com, or all spelled out TIMEFORTHREE.com.
All right. And yeah, check them out on the web. They're on social media, so check them out there. Oh, one other thing from the Bolcom piece.
Yeah.
This is funny, too.
We love that you...
And I was waiting for something to happen, but you're much more professional than I am, and you didn't respond. It was somewhere in the middle. I couldn't tell you exactly where it was, but it was one of those parts where you had finished up the movement and there was silence, and you're all three staring out into the audience before the next movement starts. And right in the middle of it, from somewhere near the middle of the lower level of the Hilbert Circle Theater, you hear the old school cell phone ring, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I don't know if you heard that on stage or not.
Yeah.
So I heard it. My daughter sitting next to me goes, "Oh, my God, seriously?"
How old is your daughter?
She's 10.
You're kidding.
No, she's 10.
Okay, so the radio audience can't see, but our Time for Three's faces are in astonishment. That's amazing.
Well, no, and she's very cool about it. She also said, and again, that's why I wanted to talk to you guys, because at least the Saturday show, and this I don't think was as much case with the Friday show, another observation she made, she's like, "Dad, why are there only old people here?" But now, again, you were competing Saturday night with the Pacers game, so that probably had something to do with it. And again, we can only see who was around us. There were quite a few more younger people, because I know that's part of what you guys do is you try to reach out to the younger people. You went into schools. You go into schools, don't you? Sometimes.
We did this morning.
Yeah.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah. Gambled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Gambled Prep. Yeah.
Gambled Prep.
Really impressive.
Good place. Yeah.
Today was the last day of school, and we had a great time there. We were there from like 10 to noon before.
Oh, wow. That was their last day of school.
I think so.
That's awesome.
But yes, we are focused on actually, the Indianapolis Symphony's PR woman who's sitting here in the studio, Jessica DeSanto. One of the first things we remember us talking about when we came here to Indianapolis Symphony is how can a lot of most of Time for Three's online followers are people who normally don't go to classical music performances. It's not something that we intended, it just happened. And so what would happen when a group like that is merged with an orchestra who is looking for new ways to relate to its community? And Jessica coined the phrase of, we should think of this as a laboratory. We don't know all the answers because we all need to experiment and share ideas, share experiences, and we can't be afraid of failing, but we also can celebrate the successes. And I think over the 4 years of our relationship here and Zach's leadership as concertmaster, we've really seen a growth, a scalable growth of what this institution is to its city. And definitely, like Ranaan is saying, with the Happy Hour series, with the Bolcom, with the programming that I've seen, classical concerts, there are new audiences actually showing up.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a different perception of what we call classical music. Rather, it's just a really great musical experience. It's, you can go to Klipsch and you can experience one thing. And we encourage, it's apples and oranges.
Sure.
It's all really, really great. So I think we're really excited about the growth that this institution is having and looking good in the future.
Well, I've taken up too much of your time already here, but I really appreciate it. Go see them. Time for Three, Friday and Saturday, 8 o'clock at the Hilbert Circle Theater, and Sunday at the Palladium in Carmel, 7:30, with the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra in what's going to be a kick and pop show. Jack Everly conducting. Zach, Nick, Ranaan, really appreciate your time. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks.
Let's get snockered.